3 weeks ago, I left my startup job to become a full-time artist, and startups weirdly prepared me for this moment. Yes, I know that sounds crazy, but I've honestly been really calm about the whole thing, and I think it's because of the habits and tools that I learned from having a 9 to 5 that helped me make the huge leap. Hi, I'm Kate. I've worked in marketing for 6 years for startups of all sizes. 3 years ago, I taught myself how to paint, and I've been practicing ever since. You might think that startups have nothing in common with building an art business, but they honestly are super similar. Today, I'm sharing the 5 biggest lessons that I've learned working in startups that are now helping me navigate life as a full-time artist. Startups are built in uncertainty. So is a creative career. But I don't think that's a scary thing. I think it's scary because we are wired to fear the unknown. We're scared that we might fail. We're scared that things will change. We're scared that we might lose a sense of control. What's really triggering our sense of fear in these situations is a lack of knowledge. We are scared of the unknown because we've never been in that situation before. We can't predict what will happen if we make that decision. It is so normal for our brains to react this way when we have little information on what's ahead. But there is a way to train your brain to be a little bit more cozy when dealing with change or uncertainty. And that's by allowing yourself space to experiment and to dip your toes into it using micro shifts. We can get so overwhelmed with projects thinking, I've never painted a canvas this big before, or I've never given a presentation on this subject before. How to get over it is to take small actions that bring us to the bigger goal. So maybe that looks like you emailing a colleague to get more information on the subject that you're presenting about. Or maybe it looks like practicing on smaller canvases. Or maybe it looks like you signing up for a class. These are all tiny shifts, but especially powerful when you push yourself more and more with each action. One book I highly recommend reading to get better at handling the unknown is called The Mountain Is You by Brianna Weiss. I think that's how you say her last name. This book literally rewired my brain on how to navigate change, and it changed my life in so many different ways. I don't think I would be here on this journey if I never read that book, so definitely check it out. Okay, another great way to deal with uncertainty is by building a foundation for your creativity to flourish. Creative freedom actually comes from structure. Building systems to help you create consistently is so important because you no longer have to wait for inspiration to spark. So how do you do this? You start by building a habit out of it. Say you have a dream that you want to be a singer, but you've never written a song and the idea of you being on stage freaks you out. What you need to do is set aside 30 minutes a day to start practicing writing lyrics, or set aside 30 minutes a day to start learning a new program that'll help you create music. It doesn't matter where or how you start. What matters is that you're setting time aside every single day to focus on that goal. When you combine these two lessons, micro shifts and habits, what you're doing is you're slowly adding knowledge to this unknown path. You're learning a new skill and you're preparing yourself for the next step, even if it's tiny. Do this every day and make that commitment to yourself, and who knows, maybe in 1 year, you'll finally be ready to sing in front of someone. When you consistently push yourself little by little, it tells your brain that change and uncertainty are not that bad because you've built that certainty within yourself. This is what I did when I started teaching myself how to paint. I experimented with creating and I dipped my toes into a bunch of different mediums. I allowed myself to explore and not take it too seriously in the beginning, but I made that commitment to myself to do something creative every single day for at least 30 minutes. That leads into my third lesson: treat everything like an experiment. Confidence doesn't come from knowing, it comes from trying. Not every piece will sell. Not every video will go viral. Not every project will be a success. That is okay. The point is to keep trying and adjusting as you go. You could spend months and months thinking about the perfect vision for your project or your goal, but you're never going to know how it's actually going to turn out unless you put it out there. And if it fails, you shouldn't be that hard on yourself because you're just experimenting. I recently had a video that I worked really hard on and it completely flopped. My first reaction was, oh my God, I suck. Why is this not getting the views that I thought it was gonna get? Why didn't it work out? I was being really, really hard on myself. And then I realized, wait, let's turn this into a learning experience. So I put the same video back on my social media, but this time I added a 5-second clip in front of it that said, I put this video out and it flopped. Tell me why and be honest. I want to learn. I got so many helpful responses on what I could do differently, and now I'm applying those in my future videos. I honestly think treating everything like an experiment is kind of freeing because you no longer overthink or strive for perfectionism, because you're just testing out different things until you find the path that is most successful. Startups and making art full time are very similar in that they're both just really big pivot loops and learning to trust your ability to figure things out. If you're an artist, I'm sure you've heard the importance of storytelling, whether that's sharing your personal story or sharing the meaning behind your work. People want connection, not just a product. In startups, storytelling is a little easier because you already have your audience and you're already solving a clear problem for them. With art, it's trickier. Different people connect with your art for different reasons. That's why I've learned to focus on 3 things. Number 1, my core values, what I want my art to stand for and how I want people to feel when they see it. 2, my voice. This is the tone, mood, and overall vibe of everything that I create, from my artwork to my videos. And number 3, which I think is the most important, this is my unique point of view. This is a combination of my startup background, my artistic style, and my personal journey. This is basically what makes me stand out. Your story doesn't have to be perfect. Mine definitely isn't, but it is real. Being honest about where you are and why you create is what makes people feel connected to your art. So share it. Working in startups taught me how important it is to be productive, but it also led to serious burnout. So stepping into this new creative career path of mine, I made a promise to myself that mental health comes first. I've built healthy habits into my daily routine, and I've found tools that help me bounce back whenever I hit a setback. Some of the habits that keep me grounded are things like consistent exercise, healthy eating, reading a good book, doing puzzles, getting quality sleep, going on a hot girl walk with my friend, and just spending time with people that I love. These little things help me reset and realign with my goals. But on the days when that's not enough, when I'm still feeling off and doubting myself or super overwhelmed, I have a second set of tools that I lean on. This includes journaling, meditations, affirmations, venting to my friends or family, hugging my dog, or taking a solo hot girl walk and listening to affirmations. And if nothing seems to work after that, honestly, I just call it a day and get extra sleep. Sometimes rest is really the most productive thing that you can do. Okay, guys, these are the lessons that I'm bringing over to my new career as a creative. 6 years in startups taught me to embrace uncertainty, build habits, experiment constantly, tell my story, and protect my energy. I don't know exactly where this journey will take me, but every day I wake up feeling more like myself. If you've been holding back on something that you love because it feels too risky or uncertain, I hope that my story reminds you that it's okay to try. It's okay to fail, and it's okay to rewrite your life as many times as it takes to find yourself and your path. If you have any lessons or tips to add, please share them below. And if you want to follow along my journey and see where I end up on this new creative career of mine, give me a follow. I'll see you guys in the next video.